Who's up for a challenge? Today I'm going to make the smallest hyper-realistic cake that I have ever made. It's gonna be cute. And while I make today's cake, I'm also gonna chat a little bit about some of my irrational thoughts. Because sometimes I feel like a crazy person, and I want to talk about it. My name is Natalie Sideserf, and I make cakes that don't look like cakes. And today I'm going to show you how I made a fishing lure cake. Imagine holding a stick of butter in one hand and a small slice of butter in the other. Which one's gonna melt faster? That tiny slice, for sure. Because the warmth of your hand heats that small slice up much faster than it's gonna heat up that larger stick of butter. And that's similar to how it is working with large and small cakes. Because I'm working with melty foods like sugar, chocolate, and butter. And when those foods are at a small scale, they melt really fast. So this fishing lure cake may be small, but that doesn't mean that it's gonna be easier to make. It's gonna be a handful. That all sounds rational, right? Well, forget the rational, because I want to talk about the irrational. Let's talk about my irrational thoughts. Now, I consider myself to be pretty rational. I really do. But that doesn't mean that I don't have my moments where logic is just out the window. For example, like when I'm convinced that there is definitely a worm in my apple, and I am going to take a bite and it's gonna pop its little head out and then I'm gonna cry. Because that would really, I would hate that. My whole life, I've never had a worm in any of my foods, but I still, to this day, cut my apples up before eating them. Just in case, you know? Or how about our devices? Our phones, our laptops, our iPads? I know it's kind of a common thing now to wonder whether any of our devices are listening to us, but don't some of those ads you get sometimes seem a little too coincidental? Like I was just talking about a hammock, and then suddenly I have 5 ads for hammocks in my Instagram timeline, and now I own a bunch of hammocks. And if your phone is waiting for you to say, "Hey Siri" or "Okay Google," wouldn't that imply that it's always listening so that it's ready to respond once it hears those phrases? I'm on to you, Siri. You might have a human name, but you're just AI. What do you guys think? Is this what you'd consider to be an irrational thought? Sometimes my irrational thoughts come in the form of retrospect. Like, if I didn't buy that fancy shirt back in 2008, then I could use that money towards a new hammock. Or like, if I got 9 hours of sleep last night, I could naturally get away with just 7 hours of sleep tonight, because that's not ridiculous at all. It's perfectly rational, right? Most of the time, my irrational thoughts are pretty goofy. Sometimes I shop for clothes. And I mean physical, real-life shopping, not online shopping. You know, when you walk around eyeing up the goods, then you try on about 20 items in an hour, and then you end up buying none of them. That kind of shopping. And sometimes, on rare occasions, I'll come across a very unique clothing item that'll catch my eye. One of those fancy dress-up clothing items where you think, if I get this, I'll start dressing upscale, like a person who cares. And then I realized that this is the last shirt in this style in the entire store, and it's my size. So clearly I have to buy it because it's fate. It's as if some retail butterfly effect has led me to this very moment, to this very shirt, and it's meant to be. I'm buying this shirt. When deep down, I know what I really should do. Buy the same style cheap solid t-shirt in every color that they have, because that's what I really wear. Now that's a logical decision, but not one that I typically make while clothes shopping. Over the years, I've gotten a lot better at not buying things that I don't need, but sometimes I still come up with fake reasons to buy things. Even when I know I probably won't use or wear them. While on the subject of retail shopping, I also often have this irrational thought where I assume that employees think that I'm stealing. Like, what is that? I don't steal, I never have. But when I'm in a store and I unzip my purse and I reach in there, I feel the need to like showcase my phone to the employee. What? I was just getting my phone. There are no store items in this purse. Like, why do I do that? What is that? It makes me look guilty when I'm not. Moving on from shopping, another irrational thought that I sometimes have is that someone's gonna get me. It's a bit of a stereotype that women love murder mysteries. And I am one of those women. There is nothing that I'd rather do than lay in bed at 10 p.m. on a weeknight and hear all about the strange, dark, and mysterious. Delivered in story format. It's my thing. saying all I want to know is who done it. Call me crazy, call me insensitive, my husband does, but I can't help myself. Well, I can help myself, but I don't want to help myself. And then this leads me to scaring myself. Because at least once a week while I'm laying in bed in the dark, I hear a noise in the other room, and I am immediately convinced, this is it, it's my time, someone's in the house, they're gonna get me. So I freeze, with my comforter raised up to my chin, like an impenetrable barrier protecting me, and I yell out to my husband, who's in the other room reading, and then I hear nothing back. That's it, I'm doomed. After laying in silence for about 10 minutes, I get over it, and I turn my spooky stories back on and start the cycle over. You guys ever do that? Am I alone here? If you also do this, tell the like button that you're gonna get it in ice cream, but come back with a can of cat food dumped on a cone, and give it to him. Now, I want to let you know that these examples of me being irrational are just fleeting moments in my life. Very short-lived instances where my mind kind of wanders. So don't worry about me. Most of the time, I'm sane. I mean, it's very common for people to have bouts of irrational thought. It's in our DNA. When this happens, I'm probably just hungry or I need a nap. You know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, sometimes people get irrationally mad at me for my cakes. Like every now and then, I'll get a comment where someone gets tricked by my hyperrealistic cakes, and then they get really mad about it. And they kind of yell at me a little bit. I mean, I'm not upset about it. It's fine. If you want to yell at me, you can go ahead and yell, but it wasn't my intention. I didn't mean to upset you. But really, that doesn't happen too often. Most of you completely understand that I make these cakes to kind of play with you guys, to entertain. It's all in good fun. And you know what's extra funny about this cake? An actual real fishing lure is meant to trick big fish into thinking that it's a small fish that they want to eat. Do you think if I dropped this cake in the water that a big fish would eat it and then it'd be surprised that it's a cake? What is this, a hook? Wait, no, it's a cake. I've been tricked by hooks in my day, but never a cake. And there you have it, a fishing lure cake. I think we've got ourselves a case of good things coming in small packages, because I really like this one. Now let's cut the cake. Like and subscribe to this channel for a brand new hyper-realistic cake every week. You guys have given me some really great ideas for cakes lately, so I've got some good ones coming up. You're gonna want to see them, so subscribe. I'll see you next week for another cake.